Hi, in this video we will read about muscle disorders, starting with the first one, that is a congenital myopathies. So the congenital myopathies are a diverse group of muscle disorder caused by genetic defects in the contractile apparatus of the muscle and defined by the distinctive histochemical or the ultrastructural changes on muscle biopsy. Majority of these disorder presents as floppy infant syndrome. Sign these muscle disorders will present as floppy infant syndrome. The common presenting feature include hypotonia, static or non-progressive muscle weakness, and normal or decreased deep tendon reflexes. Fine. How will they present with? What are the common presenting feature? Hypotonia will be present. There will be static or non-progressive muscle weakness will be present, and there will be normal or decreased deep tendon reflexes. Respiratory insufficiency, feeding difficulties, contractures, and the skeletal deformities they also may present, and they may also be present in the late childhood or adulthood. Serum creatinine kinase is either normal or mildly raised. Electromyography reveals a myopathic pattern. The disorders are clinically indistinguishable. Distinction is possible by characteristic features on the skeletal muscle biopsy, incorporating the new immunohistochemical techniques and electron microscopy. Fine, what is written here is, oh, sorry, that was not part of this. This was just the introductory part of, what am I doing? Yeah, we were here. We read till here, right? That the serum creatinine kinase, it's not necessary that it will always be raised. It may either be normal or it may either be mildly raised. And what will be seen on the electromyography? A myopathic pattern will be seen. And these disorders are clinically indistinguishable. Distinction is how is distinction made possible by characteristic features on the skeletal muscle biopsy, incorporating this new immunohistochemical techniques and electron microscopy. Advances in the molecular genetics have improved our understanding of the congenital myopathies. So this was about congenital myopathy. Just we read. This is the classification of the congenital myopathy. Let's read this. So there are some core myopathies, central core disease or the multi-minimal core disease. There are certain inheritance genes, and on histology there will be poorly defined fibers with short cores. RYR1 mutation is the most common, and high risk of malignant hyperthermia. Malignant hyperthermia may be present. Fine. So there is what RYR1 mutation is the most common one in core myopathies. Now there is something called as this Nemelin myopathy, in which these genes are responsible. Nemelin bodies on the trichrome Gomori stain can be seen, and nebulin mutation most common onset is can be congenital muscles of face, ocular, and the neck, chest deformity, and the scoliosis. Centronuclear myopathies, these genes can be linked. Central nuclei in all the muscle fibers. Onset may be newborn to adult, facial weakness, ptosis, external ophthalmoplegia, weakness of the neck flexus. And in the congenital fiber type disproportion, these genes are linked, and predominantly type 1 fibers, small type 2 fibers will be seen in the histology, and ACTA1 gene mutation is the most common, majority have less severe phenotype. So this was all about the congenital myopathies. Now let's start with the muscle dystrophies. Fine. So what is muscle dystrophy? They are the diseases leading to breakdown of muscles. Fine. Histology shows what? Evidence of ongoing muscle degeneration. So on histology there will be evidence of ongoing muscle degeneration and regeneration. Diagnosis of these disorders is based on the clinical features, muscle imaging, muscle biopsy, and genetic studies. Clinical approach to common muscular dystrophies is demonstrated in this figure. Important clues on history and examination include age of onset, differential weakness of the muscles like the hip abductors, face, neck extensors. So there will be, how is differential made? By the weakness of these following muscles, right? Neck flexors, scapular stabilizing muscles, and the abdominal muscle. Starting with the dystrophinopathies. Dystrophinopathies are group of disorders resulting from mutation in the dystrophin gene. Fine. So what is happening in this? There is mutation in the dystrophin gene, which is located where? Located on the short arm of the chromosome number X, XP21. The dystrophin protein is responsible for stabilization of membrane. Fine. Dystrophin protein does what? Does the stabilization of membrane. Duchenne muscular dystrophy is the most common dystrophinopathy with an incidence of 1 in 3,500 live birth. Fine. Which one is the most common dystrophinopathy? This DMD, that is the Duchenne muscular dystrophy, is the most common dystrophinopathy. Fine. And it is more common in the male. Fine, because of this X located on the short arm of the chromosome number X, and the presence before 5 years of the age. This DMD, it presents before 5 years of the age. Its allelic variant. This Becker's muscular dystrophy (BMD) differs by later onset, usually more than 6 years old, and slower progression, a higher incidence of myalgias, occasional rhabdomyolysis following exercise, and early cardiomyopathy. So this is all about this Becker's muscular dystrophy, which is an allelic variant of this Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Okay, moving ahead. This is an approach to common childhood muscular dystrophies, Duchenne muscular dystrophy and Becker's muscular dystrophy, and LGMD is limb girdle muscular dystrophy. Now, starting with there is a progressive muscle weakness suggestive of a muscle disorder. Fine, so there is a progressive muscle weakness, and we are suspecting a muscle disorder. What do? We do this creatinine kinase test, and on results, if there is no elevation seen in this CK, then it can be congenital myopathies, congenital myasthenia syndromes, myasthenia gravis, and spinal muscular atrophy. Fine. So these conditions can be present if the creatinine kinase is not elevated. But if the creatinine kinase is elevated, then we have to think about the muscular dystrophy. Now, if now we have to uh, find which kind of muscular dystrophy. Fine. So starting with this dystrophinopathy that we just read about, the dystrophin gene mutation, like dystrophin protein formation is altered. DMD and Becker's muscular dystrophy. DMD, the onset is what? Onset is less than 5 years, and then Becker's muscular dystrophy onset is more than 6 years. What will be seen in the dystrophinopathies? Dystrophinopathy, there will be usually in DMD mostly male child will be present. Maternal uncles or the cousins are affected because it is X-linked recessive. Calf hypertrophy will be seen. There will be no facial or the scapular weakness. There will be a positive Gower sign, and a waddling gait will be seen. In dystrophinopathies, these things are found. Male maternal uncles, calf hypertrophy, no facial weakness, positive Gower sign, and a waddling gait. Now, the second differential diagnosis that we have to keep in mind if the creatinine kinase is elevated is the limb girdle muscular dystrophy. There can be a sacroglycanopathy or the calpanopathy. So there is a limb girdle pattern of weakness. There is calf hypertrophy which may be present or absent. No facial involvement. Hip adductors weaker than the abductors. Okay, and there can be scapular winging also. Scapular winging can be seen in this limb girdle muscular dystrophy. Moving ahead to this facioscapulohumeral dystrophy, in which parent may be variably affected because it is autosomal recessive. If there is asymmetric weakness, face or the upper limb significant weakness will be found. Scapular winging and the Beaver sign. Now coming to this congenital myotonic dystrophy, in which myotonia is present. Myotonic dystrophy, uh, and which will progress to this myotonic dystrophy, and then myotonia in mother, there will be it was seen, and neonatal onset generalized weakness. Then we have to call this congenital myotonic dystrophy. Yeah, we covered all this dystrophinopathies. Now moving ahead. No, this dystrophinopathy is being continued here. Let's read about that. The phenotypic variation is explained by reading the frame hypothesis. In more than 90% cases, mutation that disrupt the reading frame shift type of mutation lead to dystrophin deficiency and cause a DMD. So DMD is caused by what? A frame shift mutation. But in this Becker's muscular dystrophy, mutation maintain the reading frame in frame mutation and result in the abnormal but partially functional dystrophin. So in BMD, what is seen? There is a partially functional dystrophin is seen. Children with this Duchenne muscular dystrophy have a history of what will be seen in this DMD: delayed walking, difficulty in climbing stairs, and getting up from the sitting position. Gait disturbances become apparent at 3 to 4 years of the age. Waddling gait due to the hip abductor weakness is seen. Gower sign and the calf muscle pseudohypertrophy is seen because there is hypertrophied appearance due to the deposition of fat in the connective tissue. They are the classical findings. Weakness of the neck flexors is early. Other muscles that show hypertrophy include the infraspinatus, deltoid, tongue, and the masseter. So these muscles also show hypertrophy. Okay. The progression of weakness may plateau between 3 and 6 years of the age. Fine. What will happen? The progression will what? Plateau. Let's see first the image that we just read about. This is a case of Duchenne muscular dystrophy in which the child presented with the waddling gait, and the lumbar lordosis. He had proximal muscle weakness and more in the lower limb. Calf hypertrophy can be appreciated, and a positive Gower sign was present. And in the second image, examination in the another child shows hypertrophy of deltoid and the infraspinatus muscle. See, there is a hypertrophy of this delta infraspinatus with wasting of the posterior axillary fold muscle, which is called as the belly sign. So there is wasting of this posterior axillary fold muscle. Moving ahead. So what we just said that there can be a plateau in the progression of the disease between 3 and 6 years of the age, followed by what? The increasing gait difficulty, development of the contractures, scoliosis, and the lumbar lordosis may be seen. Fine. There can be increase in gait difficulties, development of the contractures, scoliosis, and the lumbar lordosis. The age at loss of independent ambulation in untreated patient is between 8.8 and 10.5 years. So between this age, between 8.8 to 10.5 years, there will be loss of independent ambulation. That means the child will not be able to walk on its own. After loss of ambulation, of the there will be worsening of the kyphoscoliosis, increasing upper limb weakness, and bulbar dysfunction. Moving ahead, weakness of the intercostal and the diaphragm muscles with the spinal deformity affects the respiratory function. So there will be respiratory function will also be affected. Dropping of the vital capacity to less than 20% of the normal leads to nocturnal hypoventilation. Because of this respiratory function is altered, there will be decrease in the vital capacity, which is to less than 20% of the normal, and this leads to this nocturnal hypoventilation. Children with the deletion of the exons 48, 48 to 49, and 45 to 53 are especially prone to cardiac complications. So there is certain cardiac complications are also seen, including cardiomyopathy, and in the arrhythmia is seen. The cause of death is a combination of respiratory insufficiency and the cardiomyopathy. Fine, these children, the death is due to this combination of the respiratory insufficiency and cardiomyopathy. Other features include variable degree of the intellectual disability and impaired gastric motility. What also can be seen? Variable degree of this intellectual disability and impaired gastric motility. Around 10% of the female carriers show variable degree of weakness with the elevated levels of the creatine kinase. This will be seen in female carriers also. What? Variable degree of the weakness and elevated levels of the creatine kinase. Calf hypertrophy may also be seen. Myalgias and the cramps and at risk of dilated cardiomyopathy. Rarely the full Duchenne phenotype may present in girls with the complete inactivation of the normal X chromosome. Serum creatine kinase levels are highly elevated. more than 10 times of the upper limit of the normal, but do not correlate with the severity of the disease. Fine, this creatine kinase level that do not correlate with the severity of the disease or response to the treatment. Multiplex PCR and a more sensitive multiplex ligation dependent probe amplification, that is MLPA, are used for the detection of the mutation. Muscle biopsy may be required in the mutation negative cases to differentiate between the Duchenne and the Becker's dystrophy. Fine. So, in cases to differentiate between this Duchenne and the Becker's, what can be done? Muscle biopsy. Biopsy shows necrosis and attempted regeneration of the individual muscle fibers, variable muscle fiber diameter with both hypertrophic and small fibers and a central nuclei. Later, almost the entire muscle is replaced by what happens later? Entire muscle is replaced by the fibrofatty tissue. On immunohistochemistry, absence of what will be seen on. So this was all seen on biopsy, right? And on immunohistochemistry, what will be seen? There will be absence of dystrophin 1, 2, 3 staining is seen in the Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and the dystrophin staining is reduced or patchy in this Becker's muscular dystrophy. Fine, the dystrophin staining will be what? Reduced and patchy in this Becker's dystrophy. Now, what is the management? Patients with the Duchenne dystrophy require multidisciplinary management, maintenance of the muscle strength and the range of motion of the joint by exercise, physiotherapy, and avoidance of the prolonged immobility. Corticosteroids like the prednisolone and the deflazacort are the current standard of care and increase the muscle strength. Other newly approved drugs are mentioned in the table that we will read. So what can be done? It is a multidisciplinary management by physiotherapy, by exercise, and avoiding prolonged immobility. Corticosteroids like the prednisolone and deflazacort are the standard of care. Where is this table? Yeah, this is the table that we will read. Now, let's read it first. Yeah. This is about the management of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So, corticosteroids was given. Indication. What is the indication of using corticosteroids in DMD? Children more than 2 years of age with the declining function. Dose of prednisolone is 0.75 mg per kg per day. Initially 0.3 to 0.45 mg if non-ambulatory. So this was the dose of prednisolone. Deflazacort 0. 0.9. One second. Deflazacort 0. 0.9 mg per kg per day, preferred in children with the excessive weight gain or behavioral problem. Deflazacort is preferred in whom? With excessive weight gain or behavioral problem. Ensure immunization against pneumococcus. Against pneumococcus, influenza, and varicella before starting the steroids. Right. Weekly blood pressure and the random blood sugar for monitoring the side effects need to be done if steroids are being started, right? Weekly blood pressure and RBS. Obesity can hamper the ambulation, so it should be avoided. Monitoring pulmonary function tests every 6 months need to be done if non-ambulatory, annually in an ambulatory patient. Fine, in non-ambulatory every 6 monthly and annually in ambulatory patients. Echocardiography. Echocardiography once in 2 years for less than 10 years of age and annually if more than 10 years of age. Because we read, right, there is risk of this cardiomyopathy. Also, serum calcium, phosphate, 25 hydroxy vitamin D3 biannually, and the DEXA scan annually needs to be done. Now, in the physical therapy, there is effective stretching and appropriate positioning at the various joints, assistive devices to prevent the contractures, avoid high resistance strength training. Surgery can be needed for fixing the contractures and the spinal deformities. Other components, they can be there is a need of respiratory and the cardiac care, ensure nutrition, manage the gastrointestinal problems, psychosocial management, family education, and genetic counseling needs to be done. Also, there are certain new therapies, that is exon skipping. Exon 45, 51, 53, antisense oligonucleotides, stop codon read through Atal-Loren, gene therapy, others like the eutrophin regulators and the myostatin inhibitors. So this was all about the treatment management of the Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Now let's read about this myotonic dystrophy type 1. Yeah, let's start this myotonic dystrophy type 1. This disorder, transmitted in an autosomal dominant manner, is caused by an abnormal expansion more than 80 of the trinucleotide CTG repeats in the DMPK gene on a chromosome number 19. It's fine. So there is repeat of what? CTG repeat in the DMPK gene on the chromosome number 19. The classic form presents in the childhood with myotonia, facial weakness, distal limb weakness, cataracts, and spoke-like posterior capsular cataract will be seen, frontal baldness, endocrinopathies like the testicular atrophy, hyperinsulinemia, insulinism, and adrenal atrophy and growth hormone disturbances, cardiac arrhythmias, and disturbed gastrointestinal motility. The congenital form may present with a respiratory failure, poor feeding, hypotonia, facial diplegia, clubfoot, and gastroparesis. Myotonia is absent in the neonates and infants. There may be a history of decreased fetal movements and polyhydramnios. Fine. EMG shows what? A myopathic pattern and myotonia, re- a reviving engine sound. Genetic testing is the confirmatory in this case. Fine. What will be seen on EMG? EMG will show a myopathic pattern and myotonia. Medications that block the sodium channels like the this procainamide or disopyramide, phentoin, quinine, maxalotine. Tricyclic antidepressants like the clomipramine, imipramine, diuretics like the acetazolamide and the thiazides, and the other agents like the taurine and the nifedipine, diazepam, carbamazepine, prednisolone, and albuterol have been used for the treatment with a variable results. This scapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. Let's start with this now. The clinical spectrum of the autosomal dominant disorder ranges from the asymptomatic children to wheelchair bound patients. That's a very big range. The age of onset is also variable. The disease may start with asymmetric facial weakness followed sequentially by scapular fixator, humeral truncal, and the lower limb weakness. Biceps and triceps are typically involved with the sparing of the deltoid and the forearm muscles, resulting in the porpoise arm. Porpoise arm appearance will be seen in it. Okay. Lower abdominal muscles are weaker than the upper abdominal muscles, resulting in the beaver sign. So there will be something called as the beaver sign. Why is this beaver sign occurring? Because the lower abdominal muscles are weaker than the upper abdominal muscles. Side to side asymmetry of the muscle weakness is typical. This is the facioscapulohumeral dystrophy. Note the facial weakness and the inability to completely close the eyes, and there is asymmetrical scapular winging seen in this facioscapulohumeral dystrophy. Okay. Yeah, we read till beaver sign, and there will be side to side asymmetry of the muscle weakness is typical. Other features of this facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy include high frequency hearing loss may be seen, Coats disease, in which there is retinal telangiectasia, exudation and detachment, atrial arrhythmias, and the restrictive respiratory disease. The diagnosis is confirmed by demonstrating the shortening of the macrosatellite repeat D4Z4, which is normally in one allele of the 4q35, and treatment is supportive. Coming to this limb girdle muscle dystrophies. Limb girdle muscle dystrophies are a group of clinically heterogeneous syndrome with autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive inheritance. Fine, they can be autosomal dominant or recessive inheritance. Most childhood onset limb girdle dystrophies are associated with predominant. There will be what? Limb girdle muscular dystrophies are associated with predominant lower extremity weakness. Cardiac or the other systemic involvement is variable. Serum creatine kinase is modestly elevated but can be high in the sacroglycanopathies, dysferrilinopathy, and the cavelinopathy. Autosomal recessive limb girdle dystrophies have early onset, rapid progression, and a higher creatine kinase values. Treatment is just symptomatic. Fine. What we just read was this autosomal recessive one has early onset, rapid progression, and a higher CK values. Coming to this congenital muscular dystrophies, these patients usually present at the birth or in the first year of the life. Infants show what? Hypotonia, weakness, arthrogryposis, bulbar dysfunction, or respiratory insufficiency. Weakness is static or slowly progressive. Diagnosis is supported by the dystrophic myopathic features on muscle biopsy, elevated creatine kinase level, and exclusion of the common myopathies of the newborn. Then we have to make the diagnosis of, after all this, we have to make the diagnosis of congenital muscular dystrophies. Now coming to this inflammatory myopathies. The inflammatory myopathies are a diverse group of disorder in which the muscle appears to be injured by the immune system. Dermatomyositis is the most common pediatric inflammatory myopathy. Fine, this dermatomyositis is the most common pediatric inflammatory myopathy, which typically affects the skin and the muscle but may involve the joint, gut, lung, heart, and the other internal organs also. The last topic of this video, that is metabolic myopathies. Metabolic myopathies are a group of muscle disorders resulting from failed energy production related to defects in the glycogen, lipid, or mitochondrial metabolism. What is happening in it? There is a failed energy production due to defects in glycogen, lipid, or the mitochondrial metabolism. The symptoms arise due to the mismatch between the rate of ATP utilization and the capacity of the muscle metabolic pathway to regenerate the ATP. Fine. Because of this mismatch, the symptoms arise. Affected children and the adults present with the exercise intolerance, weakness, and the myoglobinuria. Fine. How will they present with? Presence with exercise intolerance, weakness, and the myoglobinurias. Newborn and the infants presents with the severe multisystem disorder. Most metabolic myopathies have intermittent rather than static finding. Fine. Most of the metabolic myopathies will be having what? Intermittent and the static finding. Some children present with progressive proximal muscle weakness mimicking a dystrophy or an inflammatory myopathy. Some children will present with what? This progressive proximal muscle weakness, which will mimic a dystrophy or an inflammatory myopathy. In patients with the glycotic or the glycogenolytic defect, symptoms are induced by either a brief isometric exercise such as lifting heavy weights or by less intense but sustained dynamic exercise. In disorders of the lipid metabolism, the abnormalities are induced by prolonged exercise and fasting. Investigations include the serum creatine kinase and the ammonia, urine myoglobulin, electrophysiologic studies, forearm ischemic test, and the muscle biopsy. Tandem mass spectroscopy, gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, and molecular studies help confirm the diagnosis. So, this was all about the muscle disorders. Thank you.